What's up, Al?
Hey, Jen, Jason, how you guys doing?
Awesome. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day, 82 degrees here in beautiful Cleveland, Ohio.
Nice. Good.
Back in our hometown.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes,
So-
Cleveland, Akron, right?
Yeah. We're from Akron. Yeah, Cleveland's not too far. Obviously, we'd go up there for all the Indians games and stuff back in the day. Browns games.
Great.
So yeah, man, it's good. We love it up there. So thanks for joining us today. I wanted to bring you in and kind of talk to you about one, how's the market up there, and two, man, EXP is on fire right now, and I know you guys, you and your team have been a huge part in that growth and success.
Yeah, man, it's been a great 3 years. When I moved my brokerage over about 3 years ago. But to answer your first question, the market up here is going nuts, like it is in many other, I guess, metros in the United States.
Yeah.
Typically, Cleveland is known to be a very affordable place to live. The cost of living is low. There's great things to do. Downtown's super cool. They put a lot of money into downtown. But now, the suburbs are just booming right now. Downtown is still booming. They're building, condos and apartments down there. And so, it's been a lot of growth here in Cleveland. And so there's a shortage of inventory. It's ultimately what it's led to, which I'm sure you guys are experiencing the same thing down there.
Absolutely,
So,
for sure. Yeah. And what
home
suburbs
prices are soaring.
Yeah, I guess which ones do you specialize in?
I'm sorry?
What suburbs are hot up there right now? All of them, or is it like Westlake, Avon? What are you seeing a lot of fire in?
Well, I'm primarily a West Side. We're a West Side team, and we do have some agents on the East Side as well. But I would say 95% of our agents are out of our Westlake office. So
Nice.
I would say that Westlake is smoking hot. Lakewood is probably the hottest. One of the reasons that Lakewood is the hottest is, number one, it's a great place to live. Two, the commute downtown is literally like 5 minutes down the shoreway. So Lakewood is really on fire. Westlake, Lakewood, Rocky River, Bay Village, Avon. Those are probably the hottest movers on the west side right there.
Nice.
That's great. Good to know. And your team's doing well. What are you guys tracking for this year?
I think we're tracking around 300. We'll be probably around 300 transactions, give or take a few.
Nice.
We came out of the gates kind of slow, had a real rough first quarter, and then the second quarter just lit on fire, breaking records and stuff. So it's turning out to be a really great year. Really, just like anything else, we need more listings like everyone else does, right? We have tons of buyers. We just need more homes to sell them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I want to pick your brain on your move over to EXP. So you are your own brokerage, right? 3 years ago. And were you with a franchise or were you just your own independent?
So I was an independent, no franchise. Prior to that, I was a RE/MAX team. And ultimately what we did was I started out as a RE/MAX agent, turned that into a team, and I actually joined RE/MAX in 2007, right before the collapse was about to happen. And so my first few years at RE/MAX were tough. I had to learn short sales, stuff like that. I've been licensed since 98, so it wasn't really my first go around when I joined RE/MAX, but it was my first go around in a down market where you had to learn short sales. And I know down where you guys are at, it got clobbered even worse. So kind of came out of that, bumped and bruised. In 2010, I ended up meeting Jay Kinder and Mike Reese, and I hired them to coach me. So 2010, I was probably doing somewhere around, 2009, maybe around like 40 transactions. In 2010, we went to 83, and we just kind of doubled all the years that I was following them and just implementing exactly what they told me to do. So I was one of their students, if you will. Joined their mastermind in 2012. And when I joined that mastermind, that's kind of when the switch flipped in my head. I was paying RE/MAX a lot of money. It was getting to be somewhere around $70,000, $80,000 a year in fees. Wow. I ended up opening my own office in 2012 too. So the value proposition was just diminishing, and I was paying a lot of money to it. So I ended up making the decision. I almost bought a Remax because I loved the brand. I didn't like Remax. I loved Remax. I never thought I'd leave them.
Yeah.
But after exploring the idea of buying a franchise, I ultimately and I also was exploring opening up a Keller Williams as well.
Yeah.
I ultimately went independent. I think that in hindsight, that was a really good move. And the reason it was a good move was because of how it just kind of everything merged into EXP in 2017. If EXP hadn't been along, I might have been better off with a franchise. I don't know. I'm still kind of on the fence on that. We doubled our business from Remax as we were an independent in about 3 years. So we were still doing really, really well. But the one component that's tough when you're independent is that recruiting component. It's not impossible by any means. I know a lot of people that have independent companies who do a good job with it. But ultimately, the ones that are doing the really, really good, they're giving their splits away, at a 95.5 or whatever it is, or maybe they're just doing a flat fee or a transaction fee type of a deal, and you can pile some agents in. That wasn't the model I wanted to grow, and so when we merged our brokerage with EXP, it was a great marriage, and the last 3 years have been a ball.
So 3 years, man. Congrats on that. That's awesome.
So I just have to throw out there that we actually looked at EXP I tell this every single time, because we looked at EXP about 3 years ago, and we were looking at EXP. Well, we were with Remax as well. And we were looking, again, same type of thing as we were growing. We're like, okay, we're starting to spend a lot of money here. And so we looked at EXP and we looked at Keller Williams. I wanted EXP, but I gave in. We went to KW, and now we're ultimately thrilled that we're at EXP. But, again, it could, I think everything happens for a reason. We could have had a totally different experience 3 years ago versus now. So it's been amazing. But now when you brought your brokerage over, how many agents came over with you?
10.
Okay.
Cool. That's awesome.
So, we're a small boutique brokerage. We're still doing several hundred homes and units with that small 10 team. But for the most part, when I was independent, I was still in production. So I was mainly, a listing agent, hammering it out every single night on listing appointments. I slowly backed out and backed out of production a couple different times. That's a whole story in itself. We could do a different segment on that another day. But,
yeah, that's a good segment to do, actually.
Yeah.
I got slapped back in a couple times into production, all the way up until actually when we joined EXP. But tonight, my partner Jay Kinder and I, we're going to actually be going live. We used to go live every week, and we would do like this Wednesday night Moscow Mule, cheers.
Yeah.
And we would have, we stopped doing it. We shouldn't have stopped. And so we're firing that back up because it's my my 3-year anniversary officially. When I moved all the licenses over is the 15th, which is Saturday.
Okay.
Nice.
Awesome.
And so we're going to, so I mean, for a lot of your listeners who, maybe don't follow Jay or myself and won't see tonight's live, some of the things that we're going to point out is that when I did join, it was a $3.40 stock, and we were traded over the counter. We were a penny stock. We were not on the NASDAQ, and therefore I didn't really put a whole lot of value into it. I put value into it, but I did put a lot of value into it. In fact, I told my agents, don't do the 5% program that they offer, because I wasn't sure myself. I didn't want to be the guy that was responsible for somebody making an investment in a company that I liked it, but I still, let me put it this way. I didn't throw away my signs when we came over. I stored them in a storage area because I just wasn't sure. And I was sure enough to move it over, but I wasn't 1,000% sure. We had 4,000 agents with the whole company at the time.
Yeah.
So what's kind of cool is that you're part of our network, our Honey Badger Nation network. We have over 4,000 agents just in our revenue share in our Honey Badger network right now, which was the size of the whole company when I joined 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting. I mean, when we came over in like March, April, the stock was around $7. It's now what, $31, $32 today.
34.
34 today, even better. So what's ironic about this is I'm in different stock investment groups, right, on Facebook and things like that. Over the past 30 days, I've been seeing EXPI, the stock recommended to buy, things like that. Now, we already knew this. Obviously, we're on the inside. We see the growth that's happening. We see the agent attraction. For us, there's so much more room to grow, but it's interesting now that you actually see the stock guys talking about the growth at EXP.
Yeah. Yeah, it is pretty amazing. I'm not a stock expert. It sounds to me like you're probably more along the lines of a stock expert than I am, Jason. I'm not part of those groups or anything, but you know the guy that is on, I don't know if he's on one of those financial shows that talks about stocks. Jim
Cramer with Mad Money.
Yeah, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but EXP he did a segment on it, and it came up in his on his radar, and it was on the screen and everything. I put it on my Instagram.
That's awesome. Yeah. I got a call last night from one of my aunts, actually up in Ohio, and she's like, "Hey, when I saw you guys move over, I figured that this would be something to invest in." So she invested in it. She actually called last night. She's like, "I just wanted to tell you thank you, because we've since more than doubled our money since just watching you guys," right? Like, we weren't plugging the stock or anything like that. She's just like, "Well, if they made the move, there's got to be something with this."
And that was for me, like, I think we had the same attitude like you did. Like, that wasn't why we came over to EXP. We came over to be a part of the Honey Badger group and for all of the networking.
Yeah.
But we had looked at it, we're like, well, this is just a bonus, right? If we're going to give money away to a brokerage and we can get it back in stock, like, even if it doesn't do anything, how great is that?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm like, crap, I wish we would have bought more when we first came over. Because, I mean, I just never expected to go like it did, but that's awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
And the thing is, I think what people also, I've had a couple of people say to us, like, well, now look at where it's at. Like, did I already miss that opportunity? And I don't think we've even touched, like, we're not even close to where I think this company is going to go, right? Like, there's so many agents, and we are such a small percentage of the agent population out there. So I still think there is so much room to grow. So I think when people see the stock doing what it did, I don't want them to think that they've missed out on this opportunity, because I think there's still a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
So Jen and Jason, I'm not sure if last week when the earnings came out, if you listened to the investor Q&A session.
I didn't.
If you didn't, you can find the link to that, and it's a public link, but you can find it on Workplace.
Okay.
And I would share that in the comments section of this post for your listeners.
Yeah.
Everyone should watch that. Just watch or listen to that Q&A. And Jen, after you listen to it, nobody that says, I think I'm too late, I wish I was in it when, a lot of people have said that to me. Al, well, you were early, $3 a share, this and that. Well, I believe that this stock, and this is not stock advice, I'm not qualified to give it, but being that I've been on the ride that I've been on over and seen the growth, I've seen them put talent in place that is going to carry us to 100,000, 200,000 agents. We're opening up 5 countries this year, and we did it during COVID without stepping a foot outside the United States. So I'm seeing these moves made, and I've been seeing them since I've been here, but now I'm seeing bigger moves. I know that you're not too late. When you listen to that investor Q&A, post the link down into the comments for everybody.
Yeah.
It will really, with like what's going on with Verbella. There's a line out the door, literally a virtual line out the door for people to get their own Verbella campus. There's universities that are already using Verbella. There's the United States government and military is using Verbella.
Yeah.
And there's multi-billion-dollar corporations who are in line right now to get their own cloud campus so that they could do their conferences, so that they could, they can have the same experience, an immersive experience that people can, that their teams can collaborate on in real time, to where it's not a Zoom. People are getting Zoom fatigue out there.
Yeah.
And so there's some really cool stuff happening with this company. I'm obviously super excited to, be a part of it. And yeah, I was either I was either going to be wrong or right on this one. I was going to either be a big loser 3 years ago and made the wrong decision. But here's what this was what I said to myself. And I've kind of made other decisions this way in my life, just personal and professionally, right?
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen?
Yep.
So I said that. I asked that question. What was the worst? If I brought my brokerage over, what's the worst that could happen?
Right.
The worst is that it was a mistake. I ended up losing a few bucks, and I go open my brokerage back up again.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
That's the worst. So
That's
I didn't
it.
throw my signs away. Now my signs are trash. I threw those away a long time ago. They're gone. But, you know, it proved to be the best business's decision, and not just for me, for my agents who are sitting on $40,000, $50,000 worth of stock that they would not have had they been with RE/MAX, had they been with Keller Williams, had they been with Stasek Real Estate Experts or any of these brands, they would be sitting on 40, 50, and that's only after 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, so
And
it's a
that's
big
one
deal.
of the things that I think has been the most rewarding too, is seeing the growth in our team and seeing them get to be a part of something so much bigger. I think a lot of the franchises, one of the things that bothered me is like you have team members who maybe don't have that production, but you see the potential in them, right? You can see them taking it to the next level. And a lot of the things like at Keller Williams is like, you had to be at this production level to get invited to events. Or you know, I felt like they always tried to segregate the groups of people. And it was very much, I don't know. I just didn't feel like it was a great model. Like, cause I'd be like, well, why? I mean, we were always invited to things, which was awesome. But I'm like, I want to bring this team member who's doing this. Well, he's not at that production level to be invited to this. And I couldn't stand that. Like, how do you expect somebody to go to the next level, right? If you're not willing to put them in the room with the people that can get them there. And so that for us was like a huge draw with EXP because not only are you getting agents that are in your office that do well, but look, we're having a conversation with you in Ohio, right? Like our group, it's so much bigger than this very narrow-minded, you want to stay within your little brokerage, you don't leave this brick and mortar building. I love that we get to network and talk to agents across the country. I think it's opened our eyes to just so much more opportunity.
We're all going to get better because we all collaborate together, and there's so many super high level agents that there are to learn from throughout this group.
Well, and namely, you know, you mentioned her name earlier, which is who sponsored Veronica.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, if it hadn't been and she was a RE/MAX girl, you know, before that she had a brokerage.
Yeah, we met her at RE/MAX.
And I would, is that okay? You met her at RE/MAX. Now I was at RE/MAX for 6 years, and I didn't even know Veronica. And so, you know, thankfully, because of the way, you know, our compensation is structured with this business model, our worlds were able to, you know, crisscross and come into play. In fact, I met her the week that I got this hat in Key West, which was not, it was not this past November. It was the November before that her and a group of her agents and some other agents from Orlando rented a bus and drove it down to Key West to our mastermind we were doing. And we usually do it in Key West during the powerboat races. So we've done that the last 2 years. I don't think it's going to happen this year, unfortunately, but if something changes, you're going to see me. And if they open the country back up, I'm going to be in Key West November for those powerboat races. But that's where I met Veronica, you know, and Veronica's just she's an amazing woman leader. I love watching her. She's up there speaking at Inman every single time that there's a big event. So many people look up to her. She helps so many people. And that's just a testament to, look, I'm not here. I'm a RE/MAX fan. I'm an everyone fan. I'm a fan of all the brokerages. I love them all. They're all good business models. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in existence. They'd be out of business if they weren't good.
Right.
But there's good and great. And I can tell you that I didn't have the type of camaraderie, the collaboration, the willingness that everyone's willing to help everybody, no matter what level they're at. That just doesn't exist at any other environment that I've seen other than, you know, EXP Realty.
Yeah. And the free coaching. And I know you've been involved in that. I mean, there's so much free coaching throughout EXP because everyone is vested in helping every other agent succeed. So the whole company succeeds. And for us, that's huge. And I know a lot of our agents have taken advantage of that, and it's helped level them up. I mean, this is probably going to be, you know, we came over March, April-ish, as soon as COVID lockdown started, and we're on track to have our best year ever.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we
Thanks,
came
man.
over, we were so nervous about doing the whole virtual thing. I will say that was something that kind of messed with us, like going completely virtual. And we came over 2 weeks before COVID.
Mhm.
This whole thing happened. And I'm like, man, I'm
Oh,
so glad.
wow.
Yeah, and it forced us to get comfortable, right? So it worked out for us.
Yeah.
It really did. And it made our agents, I mean, we were actually looking at finding a retail spot still for our team, and it made our agents and everybody realize that we don't have to have it. We can still meet. We can still do a lot of things as a team.
We have an office boat.
Yeah,
So-
instead of getting an office, we got to join a boat club. So we just go out on the boat.
So we take the team on the boat when
Love
we'd
it.
have meetings.
I
So next time-
love that. Let me ask you, Jason, Jen, how many years have you guys been practicing real estate?
I'm 7 this year.
Yeah, I'm 6. So we started
Okay.
independent, went Remax, and then went Keller, and now we're here.
So could you imagine where you'd be financially right now if you guys were 7 years prior? Imagine 7 years when you were starting your career, but you started your career with eXp Realty, and you were 7 years ago, you were getting that stock and building the revenue share. Can you imagine where you would be financially right now?
He just got punched.
She just hit me under the table.
Because
So-
I
Yeah.
told him
And
when we were looking at it, I said to him, I said, you know, it's a gamble, right? This company is kind of like you said, it was penny stock at the time. Said it's a total gamble. I said,
Yeah.
but it's either gonna go nowhere, but what does that matter? Or it's gonna go somewhere, and that's the play, right? You're taking a chance.
So they offered us 20,000 shares back in the
I
day
can't even think about it.
when we
Wow.
were first looking at coming over. I think it was 20,000 in the early days or somewhere right around there, right? So yeah, today I mean we
you
left.
don't want to think about that now.
I don't want to think about it. It makes me so angry. It's like,
I'm gonna do a whole nother segment on how
why
to
you should listen to your wife.
how to lose $500,000.
That your
Oh
wife-
my gosh.
So, but the
Yeah.
good news is we're here now, and we've made great money since we've come over in the short months that we have. The stock's still on fire, but ultimately it's the growth, right? Where can we all take the real estate business to the next level because we're learning from industry experts throughout this entire company, and that's what we're excited about, and that's what we're excited to have guys like you on to talk about this, and we can collaborate with when we do need advice.
Yeah.
Love it, guys. Well, I appreciate y'all having me on, and I'm happy to come on anytime. But
We appreciate it.
and I-
We'll hit you up next time
when
we're up
all
in
this
Cleveland.
opens up, I'm gonna come down and visit y'all down in Tampa.
Cool. Come on down.
Sweet.
Yeah, for
we're-
sure.
And when we're actually, I think we're going to be up there in October, so we'll have to hit you up when we're up there. We'll have lunch or something.
Yeah.
Oh, if you guys are up here, let's definitely have some lunch and connect.
All
Cool.
right. Sounds great.
Awesome. Well,
Appreciate
thank
it,
you
Al.
so
Have a great
much.
day.
Great
Bye.
seeing you guys. Have a great day. Keep crushing it.
You
Thanks,
too.
bye.
Thanks.